set up who Meir Kahane is and how he relates to Ben Gvir, and then we're going to play this clip.
Yes, Meir Kahane was a Brooklyn boy. I remember him well in the 70s. In 1968, he founded the Jewish Defense League, the JDL. The JDL was officially an organization to counter anti-Semitism. I remember them having classes for kids in karate, self-defense. They would patrol Jewish cemeteries on Halloween night to prevent vandalism. But they were also lunatics. He was arrested many times, Meir Kahane. I think he blew up, he attacked or was planning on attacking a Russian embassy. And he was arrested many times. And he's an official. Then he left and went to Israel and became a politician. And he invented the Kach party. And it was based on the old school, the Jabotinsky right-wing Zionism, the Menachem Begin, this type of thing, but even more militant. He was very influenced in those days from the Black Panther group and from the Black Power movements. He was very, very influenced by them. And he believed that if the Jews would become more like the Black Panthers, then Jews would be proud Jews and not stepped on anymore, the same nonsensical ideology. Look, I'm all for self-defense, but that's not the same thing as what Netanyahu's talking about. Show people, that's not the same thing as what happened in Crown Heights, okay? Not at all. That's not self-defense. Yeah. And it comes with this trauma, this paranoia, this overcompensation. It's insane. Yeah. He originally did not get enough votes to get a seat. You need 1% of the votes in Israel. And he was eventually banned from the Knesset for being a racist party in Israel. In America, I believe that the FBI considered his organization a terrorist organization, the JDL. I knew some of these guys. By the way, in yeshiva, I went to Jewish school yeshiva. We were the students. I was in high school in the 70s. We were not allowed to have anything to do with Kahane or his organization. And I don't know if they would be thrown out of school. Very possible. It never came to that because we all looked at Kahane as a maniac. Kahane was a maniac. We had friends who were fans of his because there was, and there still is this misbegotten belief that like Netanyahu said, we don't want to be obsequious. We're Jews. We don't turn the other cheek, right? You don't have to turn the other cheek, but you don't have to you don't have to blow things up, So that's Meir Kahane. His platform was to get the Arabs out of Israel. He falsely decided that this is what Judaism says. I remember once there was an interview. I once posted this on my podcast. Somebody asked him here in America, like it was in the 60s or the 70s, this old television show where the host asks him in this old host voice, this old deep broadcaster voice that they used to have, those kind of guys. He asks him, what would you do? What would you think if I were to say, you know what, there are too many Jews in America. Let's get them out, which is what he's saying about and Meir Kahane answered, you know what? It will be my dream if all Jews move to Israel. All Jews in America pick up and move. Of course, and that's always what the Zionists say. When there was a terrorist attack in Paris, Netanyahu said, okay, everybody come to Israel. Copenhagen, come to Israel. In America,
they also claim that they're under attack all the time. And that's why
they're always under attack. And the goal is
live here.
Anti-Semitism for Zionists is a win-win situation. It's win-win for anti-Semites, and it's a win for the Zionists because, and that's why they not only don't care about provoking anti-Semitism, they love when anti-Semitism is provoked because what's their answer? Come to Israel. Meir Kahane actually said this on national TV. And his platform was get rid of the Arabs, give them incentives to leave. If they want to stay and swear fealty to Israel, but no citizenship, they can have human rights, but no voting rights. If they insist on being citizens, and he said, if I remember right, that any Arab under, I think, 30 years old, he said, maybe off by a few years, would not accept that. So if necessary, if they don't leave through incentives, they'll leave through force. That's it. That was his platform.
Well, let's take a look at this clip of him.
3 years ago, I served in the army in Samaria on the West Bank. In Ramallah, the Arabs rioted. So they sent me there to put down the riots. Now, I want you to know that not 5 minutes passed. The word spread through that town like lightning. Kahana's here. The rioting stopped. It's important that every one of you know what the name Kahana means to the Arabs. It means terror. They're afraid. And that's the only language they understand. And for those nice Jews sitting here who say, that's terrible, let me just repeat what Moshe Aarons once said to a group of UJA givers in Jerusalem. One Jew got up and he said, why must there always be war? Why can't we sit down with the Arabs, coffee and cake, and we work the problem out? And he said, sir, this is the Middle East, not the Middle West. That's right. It's the Middle East. And that's what the Arabs know and understand. If you're good to them, you're not good, you're weak. And if you're weak, you're dead. And if you're strong, they listen to you. I don't expect them to love me. I'm not the kind of Jew who walks around begging people to love him. I'm sick and tired of being, you know when people love us? After every Holocaust. That's when they love us. That's when they love us. That's when they give us plaques and monuments, and Jimmy Carter gives us a Holocaust commission. Well, I'm tired of Kaddish, and I'm tired of yortzites, and I'm tired of plaques. And I don't want love, I want respect.
And I want to say something now. Mr. Kahane, where did this lifestyle, this approach, this ideology get him? He was assassinated in New York City, 1990. His son was assassinated about 10 years after that. That's where this lifestyle leads. Right. He wants respect. Hello. And yeah, Meir Kahane is getting respect for the Jews, right? Where's that getting you? Netanyahu is getting respect for the Jews. These guys are getting respect for the Jews. The Jews, we have to go out and protest the presence of Ben Gvir in this country because of the disrespect that idiots like Kahane and Ben Gvir get for the Jews. This is insane, this ideology. And then what's worse, to add insult to injury, injury to insult, both, is that these guys claim to do this in the name of Judaism. By the way, that he wants respect. He got killed. That's what he got. He wants respect. Yeah, nobody, everybody's going to listen. You hear that? It's so,
it didn't work out.
Look, I anybody's death is terrible. I'm not saying, but look where that got him. Yeah. That is a lesson to us all. Listen to those words. Yeah. You're strong, they listen to you. Or you're weak, they'll kill you. They killed him. Okay? They killed his son.
A lot of people pointed out in the chat that it's true. I never thought about this. His mannerisms are kind of similar to Trump's. There is some kind of Trumpian, maybe Trump studied him. I'm sure he met him back in the day. It could be.
And by the way, that line that he used, that's the only language that the Arabs understand, I got to tell you, that phrase was familiar to me because, and I quoted this in my book, page 1144 in my version, there was a Rabbi Pinchas Segelau who was killed. He was beaten to death by the Israeli police in 1956 during a protest in Jerusalem. It was a peaceful protest. I'm quoting myself now. The Jewish police chief of Jerusalem testified about Rabbi Segelau's death under oath. Quote, Jerusalem, this is from the JTA, Jewish Telegraphic Agency. Jerusalem police chief Levi Abrahami testified today that the Neturei Karta, and this just means the ultra-Orthodox sect involved in the riots, understood only a strong hand. That's what they said about the anti-Zionist Jews. By the way, Neturei Karta then is not the same as the Neturei Karta today that you see at the Palestinian protests. They were an actual party in the anti-Zionist chief rabbinate in those days. These Neturei Kartas are named after them. But that's what he said. These guys only understand a strong hand. Jews, and they beat the guy. They killed the guy. So yes, I don't know what language. If Kahane and these guys are always saying that whoever they attack only understands one language, I don't know. Maybe they only know how to speak one language. I remember, and I want to tell your audience that when I was a teenager, probably when Kahane said this. I don't know the date, but based on the fact that he wore his shirt outside, the collar outside of his jacket, the way we always used to do in the 70s. I think he did it subsequent to that also. But we were no normal Orthodox Jewish school. None of us were allowed to have anything to do with him.
He also used he wrote a book, right, called Never Again. That was his book, or was that just a slogan, which is like the exact opposite of what Never Again means to me, which is about, which when used by someone like me means never again can the Holocaust or something comparable happen to anyone ever, anywhere. It's not just about Jews. And for him, obviously, it was really the opposite. And I've talked about this a lot, that there is this Jewish kind of division over what that means. And for some Jews, it means never again is like, how can we possibly justify or let happen what's happening now in Gaza? And for other Jews, it's, we're going to do anything that we can to prevent the deaths of Jews. But of course, it's not to prevent the deaths of Jews. It's really to prevent the deaths of Zionists, but they don't present those either, because as we just saw, he himself wound up being assassinated